So I want you to think of these three scenarios that is a very common occurrence in the US today. I want you to imagine that you're sitting in traffic on a pothole-ridden road, or you're just waiting for your delayed train, or you're experiencing yet another internet outage. Meanwhile, other countries are racing ahead with bullet trains, advanced 5G network, and futuristic cityscapes. This uncomfortable truth is that the American infrastructure is crumbling and our technological advancements are lagging behind our global competitors. Hello everybody, it's your girl V and welcome back to ResilienceMind, where we explore the most pressing topics that shape the world around us. Today we're going to be diving into the US infrastructure, what's happening and what does it mean for our future. So let's start with the basics. The American Society of Civil Engineers give the US a C- on its infrastructure report card. I mean, C's get degrees, right? We're not technically failing, but America was never known to be average. Our bridges, our roads, public transport, and water system across the country, they're aging, they're underfunded, and they're overstressed. For example, 42% of all bridges in the US are at least 50 years old. And according to the Federal Highway Administration, over 45,000 of those bridges are classified as structurally deficient. That's like driving over a ticking time bomb every single day. But it's not just about safety. The failing infrastructure costs the US economy billions of dollars annually. Let's talk about the productivity loss due to traffic congestions or delays in good delivery. In fact, it's estimated that the poor infrastructure costs each American household over $3,000 a year. Now let's shift our gears to technology. While the US was once undeniably one of the leaders in technical innovation, we're now losing our ground. Countries like China and South Korea have surpassed the US in areas like 5G development and AI advancement. China, for instance, has already installed over 2.3 million 5G base stations, compared to fewer than 500,000 that's here in the US. And when it comes to artificial intelligence, the Chinese government has invested billions just so that way they can become a global leader by 2030. Meanwhile, in the US, innovation is often stifled by regulation hurdles, lack of government funding, and just an overall reliance on the private sector. While Silicon Valley remains the hub for creativity, many transformative technologies are not making their way into the everyday American household fast enough. Now, I want you guys to consider this. Japan's Shinkansen's bullet train have been running since the 1960s with speeds that exceed 200 miles per hour. Some of our parents weren't even born yet. In contrast, the US still doesn't have a single high-speed rail train. Now, we could talk about energy, for instance. Europe is rapidly transitioning to renewable energy. Countries like Germany and Denmark are leading the way. Meanwhile, in the US, we're still grappling with outdated power grids that are prone to blackouts, which we just witnessed back in 2021 when Texas had that freeze. The cost of doing nothing is very steep. Beyond economic losses, failing infrastructures, and technological gaps, these threaten the Americans' global standing, national security, and overall quality of life. For instance, outdated systems make us more vulnerable to cyber attacks. And without investing into modern transit systems, we risk falling behind in the race to reduce carbon emissions and combat climate changes. So, I guess the pressing question is, what can we do about it to make this better? The first step is to recognize that the public investment in infrastructure and technology is not an option. This is a necessity. This is essential. Programs like the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law passed in 2021, it's a good start. It's allocating about $1.2 trillion towards upgrading the roads, bridges, and broadband access. But it's not enough. Much more is needed. We also need to encourage the public and private partnerships, streamline regulatory processes, and prioritize education and workforce development in the STEM fields. America has always been a nation of builders and innovators. From the transcontinental railroads to the internet, we've proven time and time again that we could always rise to the occasion. But to remain competitive in this 21st century, we must invest in the backbone of our nation, our infrastructure and technology. The question is, are we ready to make that happen? So let me know what are your thoughts in the comments down below. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this to keep the conversation going. Stay resilient, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.